What if someone described your life before you were even born, before the internet, before smartphones, before your country even existed? Some 5,000 years ago, after a battlefield soaked in blood and silence, the most powerful being in human history looked at his closest friends and smiled, because he already knew what exactly the world you and I live in today would look like. And what he said will stop you cold. The last days of Dwapara Yuga, the Mahabharata war was raging. The greatest conflict in human history. Armies beyond counting, kingdoms shattered, brothers killing brothers on a field that stretched to the horizon. Not just darkness, not just suffering, but Kali himself, the living force of the age of corruption, circling the earth like a storm that could not yet land. Because as long as Krishna walked this earth, Kali had no power. According to the Srimad Bhagavat, Krishna's presence alone was a shield over all of creation. But Krishna also knew something no one else did. He knew he would leave. Srimad Bhagavat tells us, the very moment Lord Krishna departed from this mortal world and returned to his divine abode, the Kali will enter. After Dwapara Yuga ended, Kali Yuga began, flooding every corner of creation like a river that has finally broken its dam. The age you and I were born into. The age he had already described in perfect detail to the people who loved him most. Segment 1. The Four Arrows. One quiet evening, before his departure, the four Pandavas, Arjuna, Bheem, Nakul and Sahadev, sat with Krishna and asked him a simple but haunting question. My lord, what is Kali Yuga? Krishna didn't answer with words. He picked up his bow and shot 4 arrows, one in each direction, north, south, east, west. He then asked each Pandava to go and bring 1 arrow back. What they each witnessed on that simple errand would change them forever. Segment 2. Arjuna's Vision. Arjuna walked into the forest to find his arrow when he heard a voice so beautiful, so impossibly sweet, it made him stop breathing. He turned around. A cuckoo bird sat on a branch, singing the most enchanting melody he had ever heard. But then, he looked down. Beneath the bird's feet was a live rabbit, writhing in pain, being consumed alive. And the bird never stopped singing. That angelic voice never wavered. Not once. Arjuna stared for a moment in utter disbelief, then turned around and walked away, unsettled in a way he couldn't explain. Segment 3. Bheema Vision. Bheema retrieved his arrow from an open field and discovered something strange. 5 wells, 4 surrounding one in the middle. The 4 outer wells were overflowing, water spilling over the rim, flooding the earth around them. So much water they could not contain it. But the well in the center? Bone dry, not a single drop. Bheema walked to the dry well and peered in. Empty, cracked, thirsty. He looked back at the overflowing wells, close enough to touch, and simply could not understand what he was seeing. Segment 4. Nakul Vision. Nakula was on his way back when he stopped a small farm. A cow had just given birth. In a flood of pure love, she began licking her newborn calf, cleaning it, warming it, breathing life into it. But she didn't stop. Long after the calf was clean, she kept licking. Harder, faster. The skin began to break. The calf cried out. People ran over to pull her away, but she fought them, wild-eyed, desperate to hold on. By the time they succeeded, the calf was bleeding from her love. Segment 5. Sahadev Vision. Sahadev watched a massive boulder break free from a mountaintop. It crashed through ancient trees. It shattered solid rock. Nothing could slow it down. And then it stopped, caught by a single fragile plant rooted at the mountain's base. The smallest, most insignificant thing on that entire mountain was the only thing that had the power to stop the fall. Segment 6. Krishna Explains. The 4 Pandavas returned, placed the arrows at Krishna's feet, and waited. Krishna looked at each of them and smiled. The smile of someone who has already seen the ending. He spoke. Arjuna, the cuckoo bird, is the holy man of Kali Yuga. In the age of darkness, Men will wrap themselves in saffron robes. They will speak with the sweetest tongues. Preach love, preach peace, preach God, and behind closed doors, they will consume the vulnerable. Their followers, like the cuckoo, consumed that helpless rabbit. Beautiful on the outside, predatory at the soul.
Bheema.
Before overflowing wells are the rich of Kali Yuga. The wealthy will have more than they could ever use, more than their families need for generations. And yet the poor man living next door in the same city, on the same street, will die of thirst. Not because there isn't enough, but because the overflowing wells will never share a single drop with the dry one in the center. Nakul, the cow, is the parent of Kali Yuga. Love will exist in Kali Yuga. Fierce, burning, all-consuming love. But it will be love without wisdom. Parents will smother their children, protecting them from every storm, fighting every battle for them, until those children arrive at adulthood broken, unable to stand, unable to fall and get back up on their own. Their love will wound the very ones they love most. And Sahadev, that boulder, is the person of Kali Yuga. They will rush toward destruction with terrifying speed. Their wealth will not save them. Their status will not save them. Their family connections, their intelligence, their power, none of it will slow the fall. Only one thing will, and it is the smallest, most overlooked thing in the world, and that is the name of God. Segment 7, the Ganga. The Brahma Purana records another conversation between Krishna and the goddess Ganga herself. She asked him, "My lord, what will become of me when Kali Yuga fully arrives?" Krishna told her to remain on earth for the first 5,000 years of this age, because during that time, temples would still carry power, scriptures would still be honored, and sacred rivers and pilgrimage places would still hold their sanctity. But he warned her of what comes after. Men would argue over God, while doing nothing God asked of them. Justice would belong to whoever could afford to buy it. Those who followed Dharma would be pitted. Those who broke every rule would sit at the top of the world. The old would act like children. The young would carry the exhaustion of the very old. Truth itself would be stretched, twisted, and sold for convenience. Conclusion. Here is what stays with me about this story. Krishna didn't describe Kali Yuga to frighten the Pandavas. He described it so they would recognize it, so that when you look around and you feel something is deeply, fundamentally wrong with the world, when the holy seem hollow, when the rich seem blind, when love seems to suffocate, when everything around you is falling and no one seems to know why, you'll know you were warned. And more importantly, you were given the answer. Not an army, not wealth, not the right connections or the right bloodline. A plant, which is the holy name of God, a name whispered in the dark, a single moment of genuine surrender to God. That is what stops the fall. That is what Sahadev saw. And thousands of years later, here we are, living inside every single word Krishna spoke. And the answer hasn't changed. In a world designed to make you feel powerless, the ancients told you that the most powerful thing you carry is also the simplest. You just have to use it. If this opens something in you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Comment the holy name of God below. Just one name, and subscribe to Hinduism Explained. Let's fill this comment section with the very thing Krishna said would save us in this age.